I'm Cori Muse, and I've been in the food industry about 15 years, wearing various hats across a variety of roles and product categories. I began my career as a quality chemist at Frito-Lay PepsiCo, where I was exposed to a sophisticated, robust food safety system. Upon leaving, I discovered that many, if not most, places did not operate in the same manner. This realization fueled my passion to bring high quality solutions to smaller businesses. In 2020, I founded Muse Food Safety Solutions, and I provide business centric strategies to small and medium sized enterprises. And in some cases, I work with very large companies. Beyond consulting, I manage an FSVP agent service business for people importing into the US. I'm also a qualified lead auditor in GFSI and many other uh, supplier assurance schemes. My experiences, which include navigating challenges as a two-time whistleblower and conducting supplier quality audits and GFSI audits, have significantly shaped my career journey. It's the unethical challenges that I've encountered in these roles that have reinforced my determination to work on my own and collaborate with companies that value and appreciate my expertise. I'm thrilled to be here today, thanks to the esteemed GHI organization, to share insights with you. When it comes to careers in food safety, the possibilities are abundant. Both current students and graduates have a wide array of options. I like to break it down into industry focused and government focused. The supply chain is vast. There's farming, transportation, manufacturing, laboratory work, data analysis, research, retail management, you name it. There's so much that goes into food, and there's so many different categories down the supply chain where someone puts their hands on it and you need a food safety expert to make disposition. On the other hand is regulatory focus. So you could support the government, work for the government, attorneys, people specializing in law and compliance, and then consultants who help businesses adhere to food safety regulations. Regardless of what you choose, the contribution is ensuring the well-being of consumers in the industry as a whole. And your career choice is a noble one. So again, there's a multitude of opportunities that are fulfilling, long-lasting, lots of job security here. Food's not going away and it needs to be saved. Within the broader scope, you have the chance to pursue roles in various sectors: government, industry, auditing, support services, sanitation, laboratory, pest control. There's also a lot of niche support. You've got food packaging, food contact items, lubricants, oils, temperature solutions, document management solutions, people that provide uniforms, lots and lots of options on the niche support. Within auditing, you have a lot of options too. If you want to be an auditor, you should look into which scheme you want to be a part of. Notice that there's requirements for a degree, an audit log. Get started on that. If you're going to start doing something else and that's your main goal, stay focused on that goal and get what you need to achieve that once you have the experience you need. For auditing, you have retail and manufacturing, very different qualifications. I am a manufacturing auditor. I do not do retail audits. There's first, second, and third party. There's internal auditing within a company or even for a company. Then there's the accredited standards, SQF, BRC, Global GAP, certifying body. These are voluntary value added, usually customer requirements. You could be a program manager, an auditor, a technical reviewer. You could do lab testing and consulting. There's really a lot to do with auditing. And once you're an auditor, you're more likely to land a consultant role because you are very familiar with these schemes. I would say supplier quality auditors, on-site employees have an advantage over Contract auditors that are independent, work for multiple CBs, they have no stake in the game. I can speak to this from personal experience. When I conducted supplier quality audits for the two companies that I worked for, Frito-Lay being one, I had the authority to drive change effectively. I was deeply familiar with the requirements as I'd helped develop them. I was responsible for addressing the company's progress. And since I worked there, I had a very strong sense of pride in what I was doing. And I also knew the challenges that we faced back in production and wanted to make sure that we rectified those versus sending a contract auditor, not really giving them all the information they need. And in my experience, for CBs, contract auditing, the standards are very loosely communicated. The training is inadequate if offered at all. In many cases, I received the incorrect training or no training at all and was still expected to perform the audit. So I'd say these repeated breaches in ethics that I've encountered so many times, it's not good. And these are all coming from companies that are perceived to be reputable and world class. And once again, it strengthens and reiterates my decision to work for myself and work for companies that want to do the right thing. It is a rare thing in the United States for a company to genuinely want to do the right thing. Industry career paths, another high level perspective. I've kind of called out consultants here. They typically have a focused specialty, and some consultants like myself are one-stop shops, but it really depends on their level of expertise. It takes years and years of relevant experience to become an effective consultant capable of strategically advising clients. Listen, when you come out of school, you're not a consultant. Do not think that you're going to come right out of school and be a consultant. And if you are, you're a staff consultant at a firm that's giving you SOPs and telling you what to do. It's highly unlikely that you could be effective at consulting coming out of school. My overreaching advice that I would give anyone in this industry is you need to work on the floor. You need to be a low-level employee. You need to be shouted at. You need to be humble because many students come in with all their fancy degrees, myself included, and the company employees are not going to be happy with you. And it's for good reason. You need to be humble. So please try to take a technician job, or if you get a QA manager job, ask if you can shadow your technicians. Not as a joke, not for fun. You do the actual work. You see what they're doing, you understand their troubles, and it helps you be a better leader. And especially if you're going to be a consultant, because you can't write programs if you don't understand how everyone interacts. And it really is humbling to work on the floor and really understand these people's challenges. So from here, we've got all the things I pretty much talked about before, so I won't spend too much time on this slide for the sake of time. I could go on and on. I could give another hour-long class. There are so many things that you can do. I would say get your core experience. While you're doing that, decide what is it that I want to do long term? What tools do I need to put in my tool belt? Which certifications do I need? What am I going to be doing? If you need HACCP, are you doing juice? Are you doing seafood? Do you want to only focus on seafood? Do you want to go into protein? The options are limitless. I may be speaking more towards the US regulators and how this is divided up, but however your territories and your regulation agencies are divided in your country, think about that. Where do you want to work? What do you want to do? And what do you need to achieve that? Government career paths, again, might be a little focused towards the US. In a regulator silo, we have inspectors in different territories here, local, state, or federal. There's research and education. There's recall, response, and investigation when we have outbreaks. Sometimes that's coordinated with other agencies. In the US, it could be the CDC along with the FDA. In some cases, the CDC begins the investigation before the FDA does, and that is because of gray regulatory areas in our system. Like, for example, delivery e-commerce food is not federally regulated. So when we have an outbreak, it's a disaster. There's administrative tasks, there's public notifications, press release, illness outbreak, all kinds of, when I say administrative coordinators, illness coordinator for every region in the United States, somebody gets sick, we need a coordinator to call, get the information, start the investigation. On the other side of this is the compliance support. Who supports this? Attorneys, regulatory consulting services, FSBP and international laws for import, export. Really, all of the applicable regulations fall under compliance. There's customer requirements. There's transport, storage, and distribution. Sometimes things change. If you bring something in and you repack it, you've now, in our country, become a processor. So you really need to understand the implications of what you're doing. And if you're that expert, you're the person guiding the company or guiding your client to make sure that they're compliant and they're doing what they need to do to ensure that the food is safe, legal, and quality. Here we have FDA support. My company helps remediate enforcement actions. Someone gets a warning letter, we step in, we try and rectify the situation, bring them into compliance, convince the FDA that they have done an adequate corrective action and that we've put a preventative action in place and it won't happen again. The feds come back. If they're satisfied, thumbs up. If they're not, they're going to escalate. So regulatory consultants are very, very important. And if that's what you're working towards, I would work towards either working in a government role, which I mentioned might be less pay, but it does give you credibility, a layer of credibility that can extend later, maybe 5-10 years later when you leave. I want to be a consultant. But I would say really effective consultants have at least 10 years of experience, or they have really, really relevant experience. I have a consultant that worked for 2 very awful companies and was involved in 2 very awful federal enforcement actions. He interfaced directly with them, and he has such unique experience that he is qualified to help with these activities that we're doing, whereas typically I might not hire someone with less than 10 years of experience. Food distribution, we've got to get the food to where it needs to be. We need refrigeration, we need carrier sanitation, we need warehousing to be safe, we need foreign matter control, pest control, all of the same things you need in the manufacturing facility, you will need for the warehouse. Then you've got transport, you need to keep it safe all the way until it reaches its destination. So with that said, I just want to say that food safety offers a tremendous reward in ensuring public health. It's not for the faint of heart. You will encounter resistance and aggression. If the company's focus is profitability, your priority must always be protecting the health. Don't fall victim to pressure, gaslighting, manipulation, or unethical behavior. If you see something, say something. I'm confident with your education, motivation, and competence, you have the potential to excel in this field. Don't allow other departments or bad actors pressure you or compromise your ethics. Ultimately, it's your actions when no one is looking that defines your integrity. And I know that you all make wonderful food safety professionals. So with that said, I want to thank you for allowing me to speak today. I have listed my websites here if you're interested in learning more about what I do. If you want regulatory updates in the U.S., My Instagram is pretty good. LinkedIn, add me on LinkedIn. I talk a lot. I'm on a lot of shows. I do quite a bit on LinkedIn. You can always hit me up there for advice. And like I said again, it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. I am very glad that GHI asked me to do this, and I wish you all the best of luck in your food safety career.